After 9 years, Disney just dropped Zootopia 2. And here's the shocking part, it's actually good. I know. We've been burned before. Moana 2 was disappointing. Wish was a disaster. Ralph Breaks the Internet was fine. The first one was way better. But Zootopia 2 is sitting at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes with a Metacritic score of 73. And it's tracking for a $500 million global opening weekend. Disney Animation hasn't had a sequel this well received in 7 years. So, what did they do differently this time? Let's start with the elephant, or should I say rabbit, in the room. The original Zootopia came out in March 2016. That's almost a decade ago. It made over $1 billion worldwide, won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, and had 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a cultural phenomenon. So why did it take almost 10 years to make a sequel? Disney kept prioritizing other projects, Frozen 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Moana 2, and honestly, after seeing how most of those turned out, maybe the wait was worth it. Because Zootopia 2 learned from their mistakes. The original directors, Jared Bush and Brian Howard, came back. Same writer. They took their time to get the story right instead of rushing it out to meet a streaming quota or capitalize on a trend. And you can tell the difference. Here's what Zootopia 2 understands that other Disney sequels forgot. If you're going to do more of the same, you better make sure that same is executed perfectly. The movie picks up not long after the first film. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are now official police partners, but they're struggling to make it work. Chief Bogo literally orders them into Partners in Crisis counseling. That's the setup. And then a mysterious snake named Gary the Snake shows up in Zootopia, the first reptile to enter the mammal metropolis in decades, and everything goes sideways. The structure is pure buddy cop formula. Rush Hour, Beverly Hills Cop, Lethal Weapon, all the classics. And it works because the Judy-Nick dynamic is still the strongest part of the franchise. Critics specifically called out how well Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman slip back into these roles. The mystery is solid, the pacing is brisk, the action sequences are well choreographed, and most importantly, it's genuinely funny. Not just kids' movie funny, there are legitimate jokes that land for adults too. Pop culture references, Disney self-awareness, visual gags that reward multiple viewings. But here's what really elevates Zootopia 2. It has something to say, and it says it without being preachy. The original Zootopia was about prejudice between predators and prey, using animals as a metaphor for discrimination. This sequel tackles similar themes, but from a different angle. Reptiles have been excluded from Zootopia's society for generations. They're seen as dangerous, disgusting, untrustworthy. And the movie explores how societies are often built on the literal erasure of indigenous cultures. Variety's review nailed it. These movies are comedies first and crime films second, but their value as social commentary is what makes them indispensable. Behind the laughs are teachable moments. And here's the thing, it never feels heavy-handed. Kids will watch this and enjoy a fun adventure with talking animals. Adults and older kids will pick up on the deeper layers about systemic discrimination, historical erasure, and who gets to control the narrative. It's the kind of movie that works on multiple levels, which is what the best animated films always do. One critic said this could be a gateway for young viewers to question who sets the rules and be inspired to break those rules when it's the right thing to do. That's powerful stuff for a movie about a bunny cop and a fox con artist. Let's talk about Ke Huy Quan as Gary the Snake, because he's the MVP of this movie. Ke Huy Quan, the Everything Everywhere All at Once Oscar winner, brings so much heart to this character. Gary's sweet, earnest, and completely lovable, the exact opposite of what everyone in Zootopia expects a snake to be. And that contrast is where the emotional core of the movie lives. Multiple reviews singled him out as the standout. He steals scenes from the established leads, which is no small feat. And his character arc is what gives the movie its emotional weight. When the third act gets serious, and it does get surprisingly intense for a kids' movie, it's because we genuinely care about what happens to Gary. The supporting cast is also stacked. Andy Samberg plays a lynx named Paubert. Fortune Feimster is a conspiracy theorist beaver. Patrick Warburton is the new mayor. Coleman Domingo. Wait, wrong movie. But seriously, everyone brings their A game, and the ensemble cast is one of the film's strengths. Okay, so it's not perfect. Let's talk about the issues. First, it's not as fresh as the original, obviously. Sequels rarely are. The novelty of Zootopia's world building has worn off a bit. We've seen the different districts, the scale differences between animals, the clever sight gags. This time around, while we do get one major new location, Marsh Market, a Louisiana bayou-inspired area for reptiles and amphibians, it's not enough to fully satisfy. The trailers promised we'd explore tons of new worlds within Zootopia. We got one. There are glimpses of other areas, a desert, some mountains, an ice region, but they're not fully developed. After a 9-year wait, you'd expect more world expansion. Second, some critics felt the plot was too predictable. If we watched the trailers, you probably figured out the twist before sitting down. One review said they guessed the entire plot in the first 10 minutes. The mystery isn't as tight or surprising as the original. And third, and this is the most divisive part, the movie plays it safe. Multiple critics use the word domestication. The first Zootopia felt dangerous and edgy in its social commentary. This one is gentler, more cautious. It's still saying important things, but with softer edges. The Guardian's review was particularly harsh, calling it the kind of movie you put on an iPad to keep kids quiet on a long flight. Nothing wrong with that, but the heart and soul are lacking. That's brutal, but not entirely unfair. This is a crowd pleaser first, an artistic statement second. Here's where Zootopia really shines, though. Compared to Disney's recent sequel track record, this is a massive win. All right, let's review the damage. Here we go. Frozen 2 came out in 2019, made a ton of money, but was critically mixed and kind of forgettable. Ralph Breaks the Internet in 2018, decent, but a step down from the original. The original is still one of my favorite movies of all time. Moana 2, 2024, 61% on Rotten Tomatoes, clearly a streaming series awkwardly stitched into a movie, and the music was kind of whack. Wish, 2023, 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an absolute disaster. Zootopia 2's 93% on Rotten Tomatoes is the highest score for a Disney animation sequel since Ralph Breaks the Internet in 2018. It's also Disney Animation's highest score for any movie since Encanto in 2021, which got 92%. Disney's been in a rough spot with their animation lately. Between Strange World flopping and Wish being critically panned, they needed a win, and Zootopia 2 delivers that win. It proves Disney can still make quality animated sequels when they take the time to do it right. And audiences are responding, big time. Zootopia 2 earned $10.2 million in Tuesday previews, the second highest preview start for Disney animation ever, only behind Moana 2. It's projected to open with $125 to $150 million domestically over the 5-day Thanksgiving weekend. But here's where it gets insane. Internationally, the movie is exploding. China alone is projected to deliver over $200 million in its opening, which is absolutely massive for a Hollywood film in the current climate. Probably because Disney made an entire theme park section for Zootopia, but whatever. China has been mostly closed off to American movies since COVID, but Zootopia 2 is breaking through. Total global opening weekend estimate, $500 million. That would make it the biggest opening of 2025 by a mile. For comparison, Lilo & Stitch opened to $361 million earlier this year. And a Minecraft movie did $313 million. Zootopia 2 is doubling those numbers, which is crazy because the last year or two, movies have sucked, really. This isn't just a hit, it's a phenomenon. And after a really rough year at the box office, where most films have underperformed, exhibitors are incredibly thankful for Zootopia 2 and Wicked for giving them a strong Thanksgiving. So why does Zootopia 2 succeed where other Disney sequels failed? I think it comes down to three things. One, they didn't rush it. 9 years is a long time. That's like Avatar level long. But it meant the creative team could wait until they had a story worth telling, instead of forcing one out to meet a Disney Plus streaming quota. Second, they kept the core creative team. Jared Bush and Brian Howard directed both films. Bush wrote both films. They understood what made the original work and respected it, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. And third, they respected the audience. The movie doesn't dumb things down for kids or bore adults. It operates on multiple levels, entertaining kids with animal antics while giving adults substantive themes to chew on. That's always been Pixar's secret sauce, and Disney Animation finally remembered how to do it again. Is it as good as the original? No. The Rotten Tomatoes scores reflect that, 93% versus 98%. But it's close enough. And in a landscape where most animated sequels are cash grabs, close enough to a near-perfect original is a massive accomplishment. Look, if you love the first Zootopia, you're going to enjoy this one. If you have kids, this is an absolute worth taking them to see in theaters. It's funny, heartwarming, gorgeous to look at, and has enough substance to not feel like a waste of time for parents. Snow White. If you're a casual moviegoer with no strong attachment to the first film, you'll probably have a good time too. It's a solid buddy cop comedy with cute animals and a positive message. What's not to like? The only people who might be disappointed are those hoping for something transcendent or groundbreaking. This isn't trying to be Pixar at its peak. It's trying to be a worthy sequel to a beloved film, and it succeeds at that goal, especially in today's movie market. Also, stick around for the post-credits scene. It teases where a potential third film could go, and honestly, I'm here for it. If Disney can maintain this level of quality, I'd watch Judy and Nick solve crimes for 10 more movies. Disney Animation has been struggling, but Zootopia 2 proves they still know how to make great movies when they commit to doing it right. This is their best work in years, and it's giving them their biggest box office opening in recent memory, so maybe they'll take a hint. Is it perfect? No. Is it necessary? Probably not. But is it good? Yes, it really is. After years and years of disappointing sequels, Disney finally remembered that if you're going to revisit beloved characters and worlds, you better give audiences something worth their time and money, and something they actually want to see. And Zootopia 2 delivers on that promise. So yeah, go see it. You'll have a good time, and maybe, just maybe, Disney will learn the right lessons from this success and apply them going forward.